Well, come on in the room. You've just stepped into a space where healing meets truth, wisdom meets experience, and soul care is always on the agenda. Hello, I'm Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams, transformation speaker, author, and your guide on this journey to wholeness and well being. Each week, we'll pull up a chair, pour into one another, and unpack real life conversations about healing, growth, relationships, faith, and family, and the beauty of becoming. This isn't just a podcast, it's a sanctuary. So take a breath, relax your shoulders, and come on in the room with Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams. Well, great morning or great day is what I like to say. I am Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams, and I hope that this day has found you well. And for some of us, we are taking this time to think about our lives, and many of us are celebrating and more than celebrating, I think we are remembering our military veterans and thanking them for everything that they have contributed to this society here in these Americas. So I wanted to personally say to each and every military veteran, thank you so much for your commitment and your sacrifice that you have given unto us. I know that things seem to be a bit treacherous in this time that we are in right now. However, I would like to say that thank you from my family. My husband is a military veteran as well. And so thank you, babe. So I know it's been a little bit of time since I've been on here, and I want to say for those of you that have subscribed, thank you so much. I am going to be more intentional about being here and posting and blogging, things of that sort, because I think that that's important. And I know that may be shocking for some of you. Yes. And my reason for coming on today is really to speak about self care and how self care is not something that's selfish. And so I know sometimes we hear people say, well, as a mom, there's certain things that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't take care of yourself because your kids come first. Well, I want to say that from my own personal experience and my years of study in psychology, that it is important for you to take care of yourself. I know I'm going to give my own self a hand of applause for that. Yeah, absolutely. And so this quick conversation today just really leads me into just letting you know that um, thinking about yourself and your own personal self care, it isn't selfish. It is actually your responsibility. And even when you have children or you don't have children, you may be an empty nester somewhere in between that. Sometimes you have to go back, and I would dare say many times, you have to go back and think about your own life and where you are and whose life that you are pouring into. And I want to tell you what I believe my truth is that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And I know we may hear this a lot, but it is so divinely true that it is very difficult for you to pour from an empty cup, and pretending that you can really will burn you out. So whether you are a leader or whether you are a parent or whether you are a caregiver, when you are trying to pour from an empty cup, there's nothing to pour, beloved. And so today, this really was pressed on me to do based on just the short week we have had and we've had some loss even in my own personal team. And so this today reminded me of even my own self to take time to rejuvenate, to take time to pour into myself. And so, for some of you that don't know, I am Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams, and we're going to be talking today about real self care and what it looks like. Beyond that, you'll hear people say, go and take a bubble bath and go and take a break and breathe. And all of those things are important, and why it's more of discipline yourself, and it's not necessarily luxury. A lot of times I've heard people say, oh, you go on a retreat or you go on, these areas or times where you're going with your friends, that's a luxury thing. Self-care should not be luxury. Self-care is a necessity. And oh, somebody was asking me about the hat. I don't know. Nothing. I don't it's somebody, but yeah, today it's just what it is given today. It's given what it's given. So stay focused. All right. So that's one thing. And so I wanted to talk about, how do we redefine self care? So, self care, um, it isn't about an escape, it really is about maintenance. And how do you sustain that emotional and physical and spiritual energy to keep showing up with clarity, to keep showing up with love and compassion, and to keep showing up with truth in your own inward parts? And when you are intentional about rest, let me say that one more time. When you are intentional, mhm, when you are intentional about your rest and nutrition and setting boundaries and joy and your own protection of your own day, your own life, that is beyond important. And many times what we do is that we will place something else or someone else before ourselves. And so today's encouragement, it's not a challenge. Today's encouragement for you is to set your own boundaries so that you can have joy. Mhm. And your own self, and knowing that you're protecting your capacity to serve others. So sometimes we go far and above, but you have to come back and lean back and say, am I protecting myself and protecting my capacity to serve others with excellence when I am not serving myself? So I want to say this and give you a quick quote. Rest is the responsibility. Rest is responsibility in motion. You and your own self-care doesn't belong to anyone else. Your own self-care belongs to you and how you demonstrate it and what piece of that particular pie or that responsibility are you going to take for yourself. It doesn't belong to your husband. It doesn't belong to your wife. It doesn't belong to your pastor. It doesn't belong to your leadership. It belongs to you. And my question is more on, why do we feel guilty about self care? I remember in one of the books that I wrote about, the title was, the title is Bruised but Not Broken. And I have a little stanza in there where I speak about my grandmother who has now transitioned. And I couldn't recall a time where I saw my grandmother, Catherine, sit down and go to a spa or just sit and rest. I can't even recall a time. I always saw her either in the kitchen or making something for someone else, canning jams and preserves and cleaning houses for other folk. Mhm. And I remember in 2010 when I wrote the book Bruised but Not Broken with several other co-authors. And that was one of the things that I placed in there is that how important self-care is. And sometimes we don't self-care because we haven't seen anybody else that we love do it. Yeah, that part. Sometimes sometimes we don't self care because we haven't seen the people that we really truly love. We haven't seen them self care. So we don't really know what it looks like. And so many of us have grown up believing that productivity equals worth. Oh, yeah, come on in the room. That productivity equals what you are worth and your value. And so if we stop producing, if we stop doing, that means that we may feel like you're not doing enough. We may feel that we're lazy or we're not putting our all into that something, especially when it comes to helping professionals or leaders and or even in parenthood. We may internalize the idea that sacrifice equals love. Listen to that part. You sacrificing your health, your wealth, your well-being does not mean that you love something or someone. It shouldn't mean that. Let me give you an example. If you know on Monday that you're not feeling well and you know that you have to go to see a doctor, or you know that you need to just rest. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to go and see a doctor. Your body will not lie to you. Your body is telling you, hey, listen, I need to just sit down and rest. So when you sacrifice that, when you sacrifice what your Noah, your spirit is telling you, and then you wonder why on Tuesday and Wednesday you're like, I'm still exhausted because you didn't listen. You self-sacrifice. And it sounds like, oh, this is great. I'm going to make this sacrifice. But listen, you're doing more harm than good, my friend. So this constant sacrifice at some times will eventually lead to resentment. Like you go back and you're like, man, I really was not feeling well, but yet I went ahead and because I had a meeting, baby, listen, I am talking to myself right now. But when we do that, constant self sacrifice, that is not love. That's called depletion. That we are making conscious decisions to deplete ourselves for something or someone else. And sometimes that something else don't care two nickels rubbing together about you. Okay? We'll teach others how to treat us, and we teach them by how we treat ourselves. How you treat yourself is how I'm going to treat you. If you're always um, tilling the soil and you're always doing things where you know that you don't have the capacity anymore to continue to do, of course, that's what's going to happen. Self care, let's talk about self care as a leader. And you all have heard me say on several occasions that I believe that everybody has a leadership quality in them. Everybody has the capacity to lead if they want to. But when leaders, whether it's parents and professionals, they model this self care, they also give others permission to do the same. It's not a badge of honor to say, wow, I have 500 hours of vacation time and I've never taken a vacation in 5 years since I've been here. Why? Who who's doing that? Why is that something that should be a badge of honor? I don't I don't know why we think that, right? So healthy leaders start with I say emotional intelligence. Some people may say emotional regulation, boundaries, and you need time for renewal. I was talking to my hubby today and I was saying that next year I'm going to do something a little bit different. Um, Look at the time that you have. And for all of us, we work diligently, we work hard. Why are we saving 500, 300 hours of sick time? Lean in. Let me tell you something about sick time. Let me put my HR hat on. Um, Most places, when you do decide to transition out of that particular role, um, most places don't give you that sick time. They don't pay you out for sick time. So there's not a badge of honor to say, well, I have 300 hours of sick time and 700 hours of vacation, but your health is failing. All right, we're gonna move on from that. So let's talk a little bit about the practical practices of self-care. Here we go. Get your pen and get your paper. All right. So the first thing is I want you to start simple. In the morning, get your quiet time. I don't care if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You need quiet time. You need time to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to do absolutely nothing for right now. After you have decided that you are going to give Most High that particular praise. We know we do that every single day, right? We give Most High the praise that Most High deserves and the praise that Most High desires. So we do that anyway. The other thing is that I'm clipping some people here. The other thing is that we have to make sure that when it comes to waking up, and I've said this on so many occasions, that when we are waking up, that we're not grabbing that phone. Mhm. And for some people, that's really hard to do because the first thing that they do, they grab that cell phone. So start simple in the morning, have some quiet time, right? Settle yourself down because you have just waking up your subconscious to go and to be a part of this next day. I also encourage people to put your phone on do not disturb after 9 o'clock, after 8 o'clock, whatever one you desire. I also am encouraging you to start with saying no without feeling guilty. You cannot do everything. You cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot say to everyone that I am your everything. You can say that to yourself. I encourage you to say that, for you to be that to yourself. Okay? All right, number two. Well, that was number two. So, number one was to simply settle yourself, get some quiet time in the morning. You can take a quick walk, you can do some jumping jacks, you can journal, anything that you need to do to settle yourself. Put your phone on do not disturb after 8 or 9 o'clock. Settle yourself. Say no without feeling guilty. So protecting your peace, like it's a part of your own job description. You know, we have times where it's like, oh, your job description says this. So, like in any other place, it says in some of those other duties, some of those other duties, this is your other duty, is for you to say no without feeling guilty when you know that you and who you are as a human being that has come down, right? That is here for you to be able to say no. And that's okay. Number three, check with your body. Being exhausted and irritated are often just messages or what we like to call signals that your system needs to rest. Sometimes you'll say, wow, my head is hurting, my feet are hurting, I'm having perhaps some chest pain. I am not a medical doctor, but I will tell you this is that your body will tell you, and your body will tell on you. So take that time to be able to adjust, take time to be able to say, you know what? Hey, I'm going to use some of that. I don't know, y'all, what's going on with my hair today. I'm going to use some of that. There we go. I'm going to use some of that sick time that I have. All right. And number 4, I want to say create rhythms of restoration, whatever that looks like to you. Not random rescue moments when you crash out. Create rhythms of restoration. So, as I continue to do this work in well being and advancement and abundance and healing, you will continue to see me do Reiki, signs of Reiki. And I want to encourage you as we talk about self care and as I close out just to remember that self care doesn't have to take you from your purpose. Self care actually prepares you in your purpose. It prepares you as you are already in your purpose. It prepares you for your purpose that you're walking out every single day. And the best version of you, you know the best version of you, right? So that best version of you is one that is well mentally, spiritually, emotionally, that you are well in those 3 to 4 segments in your life, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I like to say that when you have a trifecta in those areas where you can say, and I also want to put in here physically. So we have physically, we have mentally, we have emotionally, and we also have spiritually. All those 4 areas. And you are strong in the aspect of wholeness, wealth. In those areas, you are living out the best version of yourself. So today, my friends, is that we're choosing to be responsible. We're choosing not to burn out. And that when you feel your body and your body is saying, I need to rest. Now, I know I'm speaking to conscious centered and conscious minded individuals. So, you know that Dr. Williams is not telling you to take off for 3 weeks when you know you don't have that type of time. I'm not telling you to do that. What I am saying is that when you know that your body is in need of rest and relaxation, they're not the same thing. Rest and relaxation. Okay. And so, as we close on today, I want you to know that you are great, you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are dynamic. There is nothing too good for you. And my goal today was to get you to rethink about who you are as an individual and for you to think about as well who you are as a leader, who you are as a parent. And self care isn't selfish. Self care is your responsibility. And I think you should give yourself an applause. I'll give it for you. And so, as you think about this day, this Tuesday, I want you to also think about what you are giving to yourself. And love is an action verb. It is an action word. Love is not just what you say, love is also what you do, it is what you demonstrate. And I am Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams, and I wanted to share that with you today. Join me next time as we come on in the room where we speak about love, life, family, and our responsibility to love on ourselves from the inside out. I'm Dr. Williams. I'll see you next time. Take care. Well, come on in the room You've just stepped into a space where healing meets truth, wisdom meets experience, and soul care is always on the agenda. Hello, I'm Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams, transformation speaker, author, and your guide on this journey to wholeness and well-being. Each week, we'll pull up a chair, pour into one another, and unpack real-life conversations about healing, growth, relationships, faith and family, and the beauty of becoming. This isn't just a podcast. It's